Oh, the Deputy President, Paul Mashatile, is back in the headlines again. This time around, this is in relation to his reportedly 37 million rand mansion registered on a 99-year lease to Legacy Properties, whose sole director are said to be Mashatile's son and son-in-law. Now, this is reportedly doing the company that's in question, Legacy Properties, is reported to be in business with the state, and the allegation is that they received loans from this government entity amounting to about 30 million rand. Let's get the details now, because the Gauteng Human Settlements and Infrastructure MEC, Lebogang Maile, has ordered an urgent investigation into whether the Gauteng Partnership Fund did offer these loans to the son and son-in-law of the Deputy President. Mr. Maile joining us now. MEC, good morning to you, and thank you very much for your time. Let's kick off the conversation about whether or not you are aware that the Gauteng Partnership Fund did indeed extend loans amounting to 30 million to Legacy Properties, which is a company owned by Mr. Mashatile's son and son-in-law.
Good morning, and thanks for having us. The matter was brought to our attention for the first time by one of the daily, or rather, news publications when they asked questions, and our entity, the GPF, had to provide answers to those questions. And in those questions, they confirmed that indeed there has been a transaction between the company in question, which is supposedly owned by the son-in-law of the Deputy President. And the matter has now been brought to the public space because we are worried about the integrity of the institution. We want to preserve the integrity of our institution. We have asked the board to look at the matter, just to look at whether the transaction was above board, whether the processes were followed, what are the policies of the institution, and if the loan was granted in line with those. Not whether the person in question is related to the Deputy President or not.
All right.
This took place in 2013. The Deputy President was not even there in the provincial government at the time. But we are interested in the integrity of the processes of this important institution, because once it was brought into the public, it actually brings about all these other questions about our own institution, and that's what we are worried about.
All right. Just to be clear, MEC Maile, you are confirming that indeed there were several loans that were given to this company by the Gauteng Partnership Fund. Am I hearing you correctly?
There has been a transaction between this said company and the Gauteng Partnership Fund. The reason why we've asked the board to look into the matter is to get into all those details, whether it was several loans, whether it was one, why was it several, what was it for, was it paid back, and all those questions must be answered. But I can confirm that there has been a transaction between the two entities as per the response of our entity preliminarily.
Okay. Yes. All right. You've already touched on the year 2013. Based on the News 24 report, they are saying that during the period 2013 and 2017, the extension of these loans to the company in question, Legacy Properties, that would have coincided with Mr. Mashatile being the MEC of Human Settlements at the time. Are you able to confirm that for us?
Well, if my memory serves me well, I think in 2013 he was in Parliament, and he was brought back as MEC, I think in 2016, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm sure he would be able to respond for himself on that. That's one. But two, MECs anyway don't get involved with those processes. I mean, if we were involved, I would be knowing. I would not have had to ask for a probe. But because the institution is autonomous, it has its board, it has a CEO, it has a management and processes and committees. We need an explanation. So that report, or rather the probe, will be able to give us whatever details or questions that are answered and are unanswered. But you will also know that there is a process of asking the public protector to look at the matters, and I'm sure the public protector will be able to zoom into those matters that have to do with the deputy president, because we are not investigating the deputy president.
Right.
We are looking at a specific transaction.
MEC, you and I will know that, yes, by law, the executive authority, which is the political head of a department, they are not supposed to get involved in the operations of their department. In other words, the administrative elements. However, you and I live in South Africa. We are aware of the so-called influence of politicians in such decisions. So, my question to you is, would it be pure coincidence if it is found ultimately that during or thereabout 2016, 2017, that some of these loans were allegedly extended to this company? Would it be pure coincidence that Mr. Mashatile would have been at the helm of a department under whose control or under whose watch falls the Gauteng Partnership Fund?
Well, I wouldn't know, but as you would have seen in the State Capture Commission, people who meddle in the affairs of the departments and who cross the line, they end up in trouble. So I wouldn't advise anyone to do things that they are not expected to do, things that are not consistent with the law. So I wouldn't know, and that's why I don't want. And I know the desperation on your part as the media is to create this doubt and come to a determination and a conclusion that the deputy president is at fault and there's something wrong and all that. So I would urge you, like everyone else, to allow the process to unfold. As a public protector, people have complained. There is this probe by this board, which we have asked for. And once that is released, we are able to engage with the content of the independent report by a competent institution.
MEC, I'm well aware of what you are saying, and that is that there is some kind of desperation on our part as the media. Ours, well, here at Newzroom Afrika, ours is simply to ask questions as to whether or not public funds have been misused for one or other reason. So here's a political question, seeing that you are directing this conversation towards. Having heard the deputy president say himself that he is a personal friend of people like Edwin Sodi, can you say without hesitation that the deputy president's hands are clean?
But I'm not the spokesperson of the deputy president. That's the first thing. And deputy president is able to speak on his behalf. He released a statement. He explained even the nature of that friendship with whoever that was implicated and all that. So I don't think I must speak on behalf of the deputy president. I'm not a designated spokesperson of the deputy president. He should be able to speak for himself. But I think there's spokesperson there called, I think it's Bugani. You can speak to him about some of these matters. So I wouldn't want to venture into that terrain. I mean, I think it's just unfair. But what I'm saying is we must all subscribe to the principle of innocent unless proven guilty. Not even until. Because when you say until, it's like you are anticipating that the person is going to be guilty. So it's innocence unless
Maile,
found guilty.
I'm well aware that the Deputy President has a spokesperson. I asked you this question, having been a comrade and fellow leader of Paul Mashatile in Gauteng for the longest time that the two of you have been in the ANC Provincial Executive Committee. That's the basis upon which I'm asking this question. But nonetheless, if you're saying that the Deputy President's hands are clean, that indeed...
You're asking a correct question, just directed to the wrong person. And I'm not saying you shouldn't ask the question as media. You must ask robust, difficult questions. That's your responsibility. Even the questions that we might not like, you don't have to treat us with his gloves. We must account.
Exactly.
There's no doubt about it.
And that's precisely what I'm doing with you. And this is exactly what I'm doing with you. So let me ask you the final question. So let me put the final question to you.
Don't put me on trial now. Don't put me on trial. I came here to deal with the issue about the institution that reports to me.
Absolutely. I have no reason to put you on trial. But let me put my final question to you. And it simply is this. Is there a specific timeline that you have given to the board of the Gauteng Partnership Fund within which to return with answers?
Yes, we have asked them to try and finish it within 30 days so that we close this matter as soon as possible. And I hope they will be able to do it. We have written a letter to the board yesterday through the chairperson. And if they are not able to do it in 30 days, I think they will indicate. Because as you are aware, this matter spans from 2013. It's been a very, very, very long time. So they might need a lot of information from that time. And some of the people who might have approved these transactions might no longer be in the institution. They might have to get in touch with them. But we are confident that in 30 days they should be able to complete it.
Thank you very much for your time and explanation here. The MEC of Human Settlements and Infrastructure here in Gauteng, Lebogang, Maile. All right.